Okay, let's get started.
Just raise your glasses high. This one's for you.
Turtle time.
Amy. Oh, I liked that. That was nice. That was a similar octave to mine.
I went up instead of down.
Did we
Last
both-
week I went down.
Right. Last week.
Yeah.
Was that similar?
Not to be confused with an hour ago.
Was that a similar pitch that we both did?
I think.
Okay, good. So I want to let the Turtle Time listeners know a little peek behind the curtain. Do you mind?
Go ahead.
What's happening here today is unprecedented. Amy and I are together the same time as we did the last Turtle Time recording. We talked about it a little bit last week, but right now, as we speak, as you listen to this, Amy is gallivanting around New York City.
Yeah.
You're on the
Big Apple.
You're taking a huge bite out of the Big Apple. You're going to the peanut stands. You're going to Wall Street.
Yeah.
You're in the the Statue of Liberty in the torch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So picture Amy doing that because this is recorded a week in advance. We've never done this before.
Yeah.
So anything we talk about news related is going to be completely old news.
Old as shit.
Like, don't even listen to us if we talk about anything contemporary because it's old as hell.
Do you think that I should try and go to Zarin Fabrics?
Yes. Does Jill still... Oh, it was Bobby Zarin's company. Does Jill still have any affiliation with Zarin Fabrics?
I think so. Didn't she expand it like they make rugs?
Yeah.
I think she still is attached.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I would really like... I think there's a huge chance that you see some of the, Summer House cast members and potentially New York City cast members.
I should go to the Regency.
Yes. Casa, what's the place that they didn't want to go to Catch for in Roni?
Catch. And then, what was it? Casa Cipriani something like that?
I think you should try to go there.
Yeah. And then, where else? What are some other New York housewife staples? Sonia's Townhouse.
Yeah. You could go... Where's Bluestone Manor? That's in like Connecticut, right?
That's the Berkshires.
Berkshires. Okay.
That's Massachusetts, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what other staples. We said them all. Regency, Catch. They never go anywhere in Summer House in the city because they don't really spend that much
really
time.
There's
there.
they've had a few like rooftop things or like Sierra had that party, but I don't know where that was.
I like the glimpses of New York.
Yeah.
I wish they would film them more during the week in New York. I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah. It used to be more just they'd be wheeling and dealing to prove that they work hard, play hard.
Right.
But now we're so integrated into their lives that it's like, you can just show us.
Yes, I totally agree. If there was one New York Bravo or a Bravo celebrity that's New York centric that you could only see one while you were walking around New York City, not to put you on the spot, but is there one that you'd be the most blown away?
I would love to see Kelly Ben-Simone jogging in the street.
And that's your number one.
Like just in that specific circumstance.
Okay. All right. Well, asked and answered. Kelly. Okay.
But she would have to be jogging in the street. I don't want to just see her
So if you
at
saw
lunch
her
or whatever.
hailing a taxi cab,
Not the same.
what if you saw her eating I think it's called Sabrett hot dog? Would you like that?
Only jogging.
Okay. So what if it wasn't jogging related?
Let's see. I mean, a Luann would be fun.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like you could totally talk to her.
Yeah, I think she'd be really nice to you.
Yeah. I would love to see Sonia at like a department store.
Yeah, that'd be so fun too.
But, she's always looking for a bargain.
Right. Yeah, so you could see her at maybe shopping around.
Dorinda at a bar.
Oh, yeah.
Like getting a martini at the Carlisle.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah. I think do they still populate the Regency?
I bet Ramona does.
Yeah, that's true.
That would be fun.
Oh, I'm watching Bethany Ever After or whatever, and she loves the Four Seasons.
All right, she gets married there, yeah.
And she like loves it. She like didn't want to get married anywhere
I thought
else.
their wedding was so bland.
I know. For
Like,
Bethany
who
it
cares?
was, yeah. I know. Yeah, it was a weird venue that she like had to have. I was like,
Yeah.
what do you like about this place? It looked like a boardroom or something. It didn't
Yeah, it
have
was
any.
just like a quintessential hotel wedding.
Yeah. What was the character? I guess she just loved the Four Seasons label or whatever.
Right.
But the decor and the actual.
Wasn't there like a fountain in the middle or something?
Yeah, and one performative friend of Jason's jumped in
Oh no.
and kept dancing afterwards. Oh boy.
So yeah, well, speaking of, I just tried to do the worst transition of all time because I wanted to shoehorn in talking about that Southern Charm trailer, even though it's a week old at this point, but we didn't talk about it last week. And I just wanted to ask you what you think about the crossover, because, you know, we always get the Craig crossover on Summer House, but what do you think about there being Paige crossover on Southern Charm?
I like it because so I know Paige now from Summer House. So
Yeah.
like I know what Paige will get mad at. I know what she likes. I know her personality. So even if they try to edit Paige in a way that like she's not fitting in with the group or I don't know, she's acting aloof. I know Paige.
Yeah.
So I can see her on other shows and just fully know that Paige is there. And you know I like Paige. So I feel like she didn't have a lot to do in Southern Charm last season. She was basically there to just be like, Naomi's being very weird around you. And
Yeah.
Naomi was.
Yeah.
Naomi kept having one-on-one conversations and kept having to check in with Craig and make sure that things were okay
Yeah.
the entire time. I was like, I would have been mad at Naomi too if I was Paige.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I like seeing her.
Yeah.
I like that they now Southern Charm gets like organic cast members from another franchise that are actually in a relationship with Craig, and I already like Paige and know her, so it's cool to have her on
Yeah.
there.
We were talking about this before, but I wonder if the storyline, I mean, I assume that the timing's a bit later since the show's not coming out for a while, that it won't be a direct overlap of what Summer House was.
In terms of their like relationship.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, but if they're actually going through this and if Paige doesn't want to commit and Craig is on the fast track to like wanting to get married and have a child, I'll see that for a while.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like that's actually what's going on.
Yeah.
Like there is something about Craig that Paige wants to like push the brakes on.
right.
And I've seen Craig's whole life now, you know, the last 8 years of his life.
He's unruly.
Yeah, I mean, I love, like, he's my favorite Southern Charm cast member now.
Wow.
I think he's great. I feel like the entire show tried to bring him down, and Craig just persevered through everything. So I really like him, but if their relationship is just sputtering still, I want to see it.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a rehash, because I know that it's something that is actually happening.
Yeah.
And it's like Teresa and Melissa drama. Some people are like, I can't watch this anymore, but I can. It's real. They hate each other. Eventually they want to make things better because they're a family and they have kids that are cousins and it's her brother and he's
Yeah.
the only legitimate family. And like, if that's what's going on, I don't care if drama is rehashed if it's real, because
Right.
ultimately it's coming from them and they,
Right.
and
But
you know something's
do you
going to change.
think that Melissa and Teresa, this would be persisting if they weren't still on a show together?
They would have. I think that Joe and Teresa need each other in their lives for their hearts and souls, for
Yeah.
them to be good people. Like, they are such a small family, and Teresa's already wrote off so much of their extended family or whatever. They lost their parents. They really only have each other. So I do think this Joe and Teresa dynamic would continue. Is the show fostering this discord? Yes.
Yeah.
Probably. But I think the show just enhances what's there, you know, what is actually a conflict in their relationship. So I don't know. I think they would always have these tensions. It's just heightened
Yeah.
for the show. And was that your original question?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious of like, I feel like so much of the animosity between Teresa and Melissa is competition based of wanting to be the star of the show.
Yeah.
And so I feel like if they weren't on anymore, they would be able to just live in reality. It sounds like they had moments of living as a normal family in between seasons and then
Yeah.
it went to total shit.
It's kind of like Kyle and LVP.
Yeah.
Kyle wishes she was the #1 star of Beverly Hills, and she's been on the longest, and she was always in Lisa's shadow and kind of relegated to Lisa's friend. And then it just could never happen for Kyle because she's just so deferential to
Yeah.
people, and she's just not like, she doesn't have all the qualities that makes like a perfect, fun, engaging housewife. She's always,
Interesting.
you don't think so?
We're gonna talk about that
You-
soon.
You love Kyle?
Maybe.
Oh my God. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I find Kyle. Oh my God. Right. Okay. So I think that Melissa, if Melissa just accepted, I like Melissa now.
Yeah.
I've come, I used to think Melissa just only had drama with Teresa to increase her own standing. Now I think Melissa isn't 100% full A+. Like, I love to watch her
Yeah.
entertaining, but her and Joe's dynamic is great. And I
Yeah.
do like her feuding with Teresa because Teresa makes herself look so bad that she actually makes Melissa look like a hero in
Yeah.
the fights. So I
Yeah.
sort of like that aspect of Melissa, and I wish that they could both just be secure in their place
Yeah.
on the show. Like
I know,
Dolores
it's
has
been
no
so long.
Dolores has no qualms about her place on New Jersey.
No.
She's like, I am your friend. I'll hang out with you. I settle feuds. I'm not the star of this show.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know.
We should. Oh my gosh. So yeah, we part of our plan for this episode is that we want to talk through who we think are the top 10 housewives of all time, maybe for another time, because we both had a really hard time getting to that number. So we have all these like MVPs on the side that almost made the cut, which I would maybe want to swap out at any given time.
Yeah.
We should come up with like true MVPs of like supporting like goats. And I
Okay.
feel like Dolores is
Yes.
like that,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
Emily is that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like really, really good,
like they're not the star
but
of their
not
franchise.
like the front.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm thinking like, I don't know. Like, would Cynthia in Atlanta be an example of that? Like a utility player? Like,
Yeah.
she's always there.
Yeah.
She's fine. She doesn't
Yeah.
hamper the drama, but
Yeah.
she's not
like
the star.
you want her in the mix.
Yeah.
But she's not the star. Yeah.
So do you think, so should we not? Okay, so and the reason you said it, but the reason why we're doing our top 10 housewives is because this is not a topical episode. We
Yeah.
have not watched the episodes for this week. We're going to come back in roaring glory once
Yes.
Amy's back from New York. But now we're just going to do a, what's that called? An encapsulated episode just about
yeah.
our top 10
bottle
housewives.
episode.
A bottle episode so that you get a sense of Amy and I. And we've never talked about our top 10s
No.
ever.
We talked about our favorite taglines.
Yes.
But not.
Yeah.
We should also later do worst housewives ever.
I'd love to. Can I just tell you one right now
Sure.
that I just have loaded up? Diana Jenkins.
Absolutely. Everyone agrees.
I mean, bottom 100.
She didn't even go to the reunion.
I mean, I have not even seen all the franchises like Dallas and Miami. I'm putting her below all of them.
She's terrible. Andy never even met her.
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
She's the biggest flop they've ever had. I mean,
Terrible.
I was shocked about it. So do you want to save those? I have like 5 honorable mentions. That's
Okay.
a lot, right? So should we just
I
stick
have
to the...
like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I basically did as many honorable mentions as I did favorites because I couldn't fucking decide, and I'm still scared about what I chose.
So what's more entertaining? I feel like if we throw out our honorable mentions, you sort of get a sense of our top 10. But there are also so many housewives that I don't know. Like, I don't know if it can be spoiled. I don't know. How do you want to do it?
I'm like, should we just list
Let's
our top 10s?
Why don't we do top 10 starting from 10? We'll do our
Okay.
10s.
You put them in order.
Yeah.
I couldn't decide.
Okay. Well, you might have to
You
manufacture.
do yours in
Yeah.
order.
And then you just give me what your 10 is, okay?
Okay.
And then if we have any overlap,
Yeah.
we'll discuss that person and you tell me where they are on your list, like
Okay.
after you've thought about it.
Okay.
And then after we've done our 10, we'll go through quickly our honorable mentions just so people get a sense of who we like
Yes.
outside of the top 10. Because
Okay.
I could do a top 20 so easily.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 10. For me, I had a hard time because it was between 2 housewives that I love more than life itself. I mean, this 10 is like golden to me.
Okay.
So I had a hard time, but I'm going number 10, Kim Richards from
Okay.
Beverly Hills.
Okay.
So do you have her anywhere in your top 10?
She was my honorable.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So I love Kim Richards. I think that's she is so like just funny, engaging to
Yeah.
watch. She also, unfortunately, you had to suffer through her like drug abuse for the
Yeah.
first 2 seasons. But I think Beverly Hills was propelled entirely on the conflict between Kim and Kyle,
Totally.
most of it. And then you had LVP providing like all the entertainment and the fun. But Kim is really underrated in how the franchise was built.
Totally. I mean, whenever people ask me what cities they should watch, I'm always like, Beverly Hills season 1 is incredible. And that's due to her.
And I love Kim's trajectory. I love she gets over her drinking, even though she has like relapses, throughout the series. But for the most part, I love watching Kim. I love her take on everything. I love that she secretly doesn't like Lisa Vanderpump the entire time because she thinks that Lisa is like nefarious and doesn't have her best like intentions at heart.
Yeah.
And there are scenes where like you watch Lisa and Lisa always has an eye on Kim, like she's gonna like relapse, and she's always worried about like what Kim is taking. Like if Kim takes like Advil, she's like, oh, I think I saw Kim pop something or whatever. And like I get why Kim doesn't like LVP.
Right.
And I love when there's a feud of where I like both of them, but I see what they see in
that
each other.
Hawaii episode is so crazy.
Oh,
where,
with the bulldog?
Yes. And they're like sneaking off and
Yes.
they're late.
Yeah.
And they're clearly just doing shady shit.
Yes.
Like, and everyone is so mad at them. And remember, Mauricio, it's his birthday trip, and he cheers us to truth.
Yes, to truth. Didn't they go and climb over the balcony to see what they're doing? Because doesn't
Yeah.
Kyle get really worried that
They
Kim
won't
might be...
answer the door.
Oh my God, so bad.
It's a very chaotic episode where you're like, oh, this is like genuine addict behavior.
Yeah, and I like hate to give Kim credit for that. But it is like you witness true drug addiction.
Yeah.
And see the ramifications of it. And like to me, that like limo ride or whatever, that car ride where they're coming off of like they've
With
just
Martin?
done like meth or whatever. Oh no, I was thinking of the one where they're like going to SUR for a party or whatever, and she's like picking up
She
something
says
out
she
of the
wants to have a
trash.
baby.
Yeah, and then they're picking up something out of the trash and it has pure shit on it. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah.
They're like just fully out of their mind.
Yeah,
Then
she like
goes into
can't find her like shoes or her bag or whatever.
Yeah, and then she goes into the bathroom and she's in the bathroom for like 30 minutes or whatever. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't like...
She tells Kyle that she's like pregnant, and
Yes.
Kyle's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're 50 years old.
Yeah, I mean, that's... I guess, I don't know, that like propelled Beverly Hills as very
dark, but it's
true.
good.
Dark. Yeah, and then we had to suffer, through the darkest shit in the world. More
God.
Taylor related. Like
Yeah,
Beverly
yeah.
Hills starts off with really dark energy.
Totally. But it's like undeniably real.
Yes. But I love Kim's... She almost has a victorious arc overall.
Mm-hmm.
I think she finally finds that her relationship with Kyle in the show is unhealthy and she moves away. And I think that was good for her. But whenever Kim was there, I was always on Kim's side, especially against Lisa Rinna. I love that Kim just hated Lisa Rinna more than life itself.
Let's talk about the husband.
Yes, I love that. And I love how fired up she made Rinna. I just think that I don't know, I was always on Kim's side. And I think she's
Okay.
great. So that's my Kim 10.
Okay.
I feel is she underrated or everyone loves Kim?
I don't think that she would normally be chosen in like a pantheon,
Okay.
Like I feel like I went kind of like basic-ish on
I went
like
basic too.
like if you had like a Mount Rushmore,
Yeah.
like that's what I did.
But did you do your top 10? Your personal?
Yeah, well, it was like to me like powerful. And like yeah, there are probably some that other people would choose that I don't like as much.
Okay.
So, yeah.
These are all my like personal, the ones I love the most.
Okay.
But I hope that they also portray the most powerful. I think they're
Yeah.
kind of in sync. Okay, who's your 10?
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to put okay, I'll just since I have to figure out my order on the run, I'm going to piggyback off yours and this is where I'm going to put Kyle.
Kyle Richards, number 10 favorite Housewives.
Because I got upset when everyone started to turn on her in the recent years.
Okay.
Because I didn't understand it. Because I don't think she's problematic.
No.
Maybe some people would consider her boring.
Yes. I sort of do.
But I think she's an anchor
Yes.
to what I think is one of my favorite franchises. She's born and raised in Beverly Hills. This is her town.
Right.
And I feel like everything sort of revolves around her. Like without Kyle, you don't have Kim. She was like the BFF of LVP.
Right.
Like Mauricio, one of the best house husbands ever.
I'll give her that.
Their family dynamic was enjoyable to watch. They were a good, solid family
Yes.
that I've enjoyed over the years. I feel like her house was home base. That's where all those white parties were. The limo ride with Kim was born out of that. I just like am comforted by her presence, and now everything is up in arms chaos with her newest lifestyle choices or whatever is going to happen there. But historically, I like Kyle. I like her ties to Hollywood. I like seeing her in the Halloween movies.
Yes.
I like I feel like she's like friends with Andy. You know, like she's someone that you
Legitimately
feel like
friends.
you could run into on the streets in Beverly Hills. Like she's actively living in Beverly Hills. Like everything about her lifestyle felt real. You know, like she wasn't trying hard to be a housewife. She just like was already there. Like, you know, she's not super like try hard or
Yeah.
overly glamorous or, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe more so over the years they've all sort of taken Erica's
Yeah.
page out of her book, but
Right. No, she is very authentic.
Yeah.
I feel for the most part. I do love her family life. Exactly like you said. I like the
dogs.
glimpses of Mauricio. I like the dogs. I love that her white parties were a foundation. She's done things that made me skeptical of her overall opinion on things. I feel like she is really jealous in the current era of Sutton and treats Sutton like shit and has done things that I find very horrific to Sutton.
Yeah.
Like pushing Sutton around, talking shit about Sutton, making Sutton look bad. So I'm thinking about her contemporarily.
yeah.
Because she's sort of in some instances very desperate for the crown
Yeah.
to be the number one. And anytime I feel like she gets to be the number one, she sort of flops or is deferential to people. And she basically had to build this full alliance with like Renna and Dorit and Erica Jane and whoever else is in that alliance to like protect herself from the scrutiny of just her being isolated on her own. She like whipped up a crew.
Yeah.
And that made Beverly Hills so bad for so long. So I don't know, but I do like Kyle. Like ultimately, I think Kyle is a good person. She just wouldn't personally be in my top 10.
Okay.
And she's not even my honorable mention.
Wow.
Just so you know.
I figured that was coming.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
My 9. I just did a last minute switch.
Okay.
Because because I was thinking about how I'm going to justify it, and the person that I chose, I can justify so much more than my other.
Okay.
But my honorable mention still stands, and we'll talk about that. Number 9 for me is Carol,
Okay.
New York.
I gave her honorable.
Wow. Okay, so I'm hitting all your honorables. Okay. I think that early Roni was at such a crossroads after season 4. It was so contentious between the cast members. They absolutely hated Jill. Jill was horrible to production. They had to fire Alex, Jill, Kelly, and Cindy Barshop. So it was almost like we need a new cast.
Yeah.
Like we need to reboot this thing almost. I mean, they fired 4 out of the 8 or 7 cast members. And I think they hit it out of the goddamn park with Carol, Aviva, and Heather Thompson.
Yeah.
And Carol, for me, was the first time a viewer surrogate worked really well. And I think she sort of is the archetype of a viewer surrogate, coming in and being like, what the hell is happening? Sort of like Jenna now is trying to be on Roni,
Yeah.
where it's just like, what is my place in this
Right.
in this world? Who are these people? This is so silly. But then eventually Carol fully gets embedded in the Roni housewife
no way out.
aesthetic. She has some of the most memorable moments about the ghostwriting stuff with Aviva. Eventually everyone tries to target Carol because she ends up, through her laid backness, being like secretly the most powerful, and she has the most like prestige throughout
Yeah.
the entire thing. So I love that like Luann starts to hate her.
Yeah.
The dynamic with her and Bethany is one of the saddest deteriorations of a friendship that I think I've ever seen
Yeah.
in Housewives history. So for me, I love that she's like a writer. I love seeing the editor meetings. I love that how much pride she took in that like journalism
Little
aesthetic.
writer girl.
Yeah, that whole thing. She was.
You should read her book.
I don't think I don't want to read about how sad she was when her husband died.
It is sad.
You liked it?
I did like it, but I like stuff like that.
I would probably read that next one she did, like the Girlfriend's
right.
Guide to Loss or whatever. But
Yeah.
I just think that she was a full new archetype that I had never seen. And I think that she had an amazing, 7-season run on the
Yeah.
show. Like she's great. So
Yeah.
I got to give Carol credit.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm just thinking about all the shit with her dating Adam
Oh.
and how Luann was like, he's a child. He was like 30.
One of those, Roni has so many iconic moments that you couldn't even pinpoint because there's 1,000 moments that are iconic, but I'll see the meme every once in a while of Luann typing to Carol her apology, and it goes, "I'm sorry I called you a pedophile." And it's like, how do you spell pedophile? It's like, that was just there, like
Yeah.
a unsung moment.
And we knew Luann's niece because
Yes.
she took her out
Yeah.
to like a rock show
Yeah.
on the show. And then that same girl was on that other Bravo show that was basically Project Runway for art
Oh, okay.
called I forget what it was called. It was like
Okay.
Work of Art or something
Yeah.
like that. And her niece was an artist on that show. And I feel like I'm the only one on earth that actually watched that show. But I was like, oh, that's Luann's niece.
Wow. Do you remember when Carol was just ripping through New York City with that rocker guy that she
Oh my
had
God.
to do?
From Journey?
Yeah, I think so.
Was that, or
Yeah,
Aerosmith? Who was it?
I think no. She looks like the guy from Aerosmith, but I think it was. Oh man, I'm gonna get it wrong. Guitarist from or bassist from Journey, possibly. I don't know if it was from Journey. I
It
think
was
that's,
like a major.
yeah, Guns N'
80s
Roses.
band.
I don't know, but anyway, I think so. She's an honorable mention. You
Yeah.
don't love her as much as me.
I mean, yeah, I don't. I think she's great for the show, and I think she's interesting. I just, I always have that like resentment, like chip on my shoulder of when someone thinks that they're above the franchise while participating with the franchise, which like we said, you start one way and then eventually you are just completely absorbed by the world and you just have to participate the way everyone else does.
Yeah.
But I think there were times when it felt like she thought that she was classier, or I get it. Like she's like, you women are fucking nuts. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not like you. But if you're on the show long enough, it's like,
Oh yeah.
you're a housewife, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. And Andy Cohen specifically said in the Not All Diamonds and Rose, he goes, "I've never known a shift in someone like Carol's when she started versus when she left the show. I had no idea who that person was anymore." And
That's crazy.
I feel like Bethany suffered so much from the fallout of that friendship that Carol has a lot of friends, and Carol ultimately just didn't care about Bethany enough. But that was the first time Bethany had a real friend in so long, and Bethany was like devastated when that
Yeah.
friendship ended.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was so sad to
They
see.
felt like they were each other's comfort person on the show, because they were like, do you see what's going on
Yeah.
here? Like they were on each other's level. They're a little younger, or like
Yes,
than the
no,
women,
they were like perfect, like real friends, and
Yeah.
I loved it, and so that's why it was so sad. Okay, who's your number 9?
Okay. I think I'm gonna say, why do I feel like this is a wild card? It's not. Kim Zolciak.
I mean, I love Kim. I love Kim. I do think it's a bit of, well, I don't know. No, it's not a wild card. She's iconic.
She has
She's
a spin-off.
She's OG. Yeah, she is in the rarefied air of having a full spinoff dedicated to her.
Yeah.
Bethany.
Very rare.
Her, Lisa. But even Lisa, you can't give Lisa full credit for Vanderpump Rules as just a spinoff of her
Right.
life. That is
Right.
so about the,
Right.
the cast
But her
members.
legacy lives on.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone the other day asking if they should watch, like what city they should watch if they're going to start or whatever. And at first I was like, Atlanta and OC are like so old that their first seasons are just like a different animal.
Yes.
And I was like, because I had just watched the OG's dinner of Atlanta where it was like Charisse and Lisa. And I was like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like season 1 Atlanta. And then I remembered, I was like, Kim Zolciak season 1.
Oh, right.
I was like, actually, you should watch season 1, because Kim in her Party City wigs, smoking cigarettes and drinking wine in her car, calling Big Papa
Getting
to buy
dressed.
her a Range Rover.
Yeah.
Tardy for the Party, just her and Nini's dynamic, so
Yes.
funny. I fully watched Tardy for the Party like the entire time. I'm like the loser that watched it all the way through.
So I've never watched it. Is it good?
I mean, it's like silly. Like
Yeah.
it's a family
I mean, I think
show.
I would like it. I mean, I
Probably.
love watching Kim and Croy.
It's very like, bubble, like filler kind of
Yeah.
just like, we're going on a road trip, or like,
Yeah.
we're going to the casino, and like their chef is a character, and
That's fun.
it's just like all about her spending, and they had a great relationship. Well, I guess
Yeah.
they're still together.
I mean,
but
one of the best Bravo love stories.
totally
You see her.
met on camera.
She's
Who's the guy with the tight ass?
She saw his ass and was like, that guy has one of the best asses I've ever seen. And he turns around and she's like in love. That is
Yeah.
such a beautiful story.
Yeah, and they stayed together. I mean, how long has it been now? At least 10 years.
Yeah. I do love Kim. I sort of am sad that I didn't even put her on my honorable mentions, but she is so iconic. And her and Nene are the fuel of Atlanta. I mean, they were
Totally.
such the stars that they basically could just fire Deshaun and who's the other one?
Lisa.
Lisa got another season.
Oh, okay.
But they knew who the stars were. Kim and
Did I call
Nene.
her Charisse? Where did I get that name from?
Charisse was
No.
the one who started Potomac.
Okay. But wasn't Charisse on Atlanta and then went to Potomac?
I think it's possible. I don't remember. All I remember about early Atlanta is basically Kim and Nene's, wonderful dynamic.
Yes.
And Sheree, who's
Yeah.
also great, but Sheree only lasts 4 seasons or whatever. But I remember, Sheree is doesn't invite Nene to her her party or whatever, and Nene's standing at the door and
Yeah.
everything. But yeah, I think Kim is so fun. I wish I would have put her on my honorable mentions.
Yeah. Just what a unique figure that they are so lucky to have found.
Yeah. And their spinoff lasted like 6 or 7
It was
seasons.
long. Yeah. And I watched one where they went to Italy and she brought solo cups with them and was drinking like $200 wine out of the solo cups.
Wow.
And I'm just like, you're insane. Like
Yeah.
that's, there's something wrong with you. And I love to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, same here. And one of the most iconic songs
Yes,
in Bravo history.
major.
And to me, I think we've already talked about this, but there's nothing better than the 3 or 4 episodes where Candy and Kim go on tour together on the
Yes.
bus. I love it. It's like
Is
one of the
that
best things.
when Nene accuses Kim of being a quote slave driver to her assistant?
I believe so. Yeah. Nene and Kim also had a great friendship that completely dissolved after like 2 seasons, and then it could never be repaired. They tried, but it was just over.
Yeah.
Do they like each other now?
That's a good question. I don't know where they stand.
Actually, I think Nene in her lawsuit accused Kim Zolciak that she was a recipient of racism.
Oh God!
Because
what happened with that lawsuit? Did it fizzle?
I think it fizzled.
Okay.
And now I watched the Carlos King interview with
I saw some
Nene,
clips. Yeah.
and she's just trying to like brush aside that she ever did that, and she was like, I have no hard feelings towards Andy, and she's just like, I wanted fair treatment or whatever. It's like, you can't say you had no hard feelings and then file a huge lawsuit against them.
That's dark.
Anyway, so I don't think her and Kim are actually good. Oh, because
Yeah.
they had that whole roaches controversy.
The roach, and then, but my favorite is the like iconic "Watch What Happens Live" clip when Kim calls in and Nene's the guest, and she goes, "Close your legs to married men, trash box."
that's amazing.
That's an iconic quote. Okay. Yes.
Okay, so that was your number 9.
Yes.
Okay, my number 8. We're at 33 minutes, so I feel like we're doing good.
Yeah.
We're not too long, right?
No.
We're at 8. Okay. I have to give it to this person. We already talked about her. We alluded to her. She is a gigantic presence in the Bravo universe. I am going number 8, Teresa Giudice.
Okay.
I had to put her there. I
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
Because she is purely what New Jersey is all about.
Yeah.
And she has sustained New Jersey for 14 seasons.
Yeah.
Where is Teresa on your list? Before I
Well,
get
she's
into-
on my list, but I'm making up the order as I go, so we'll see. But let's just say when I wrote down Stream of Consciousness, she was number 2 on when I was thinking of iconic
Oh,
housewives.
god damn. Okay, so we could have just spoiled your number 2.
Well, I don't know. I'm changing the order as I go because I just wrote down like I was like, who do you think of when you think of a major housewife? And I said, Teresa, somewhere.
Right. But
But that
you
doesn't.
also,
That was stream of consciousness order, not a thoughtful.
you were
order.
doing faces on Mount Rushmore.
Yes.
You were like, Teresa's face is the second
Yes.
one. I think I know who your Mount Rushmore is, or at least I know probably two
Okay.
of them. Okay, so fine. Well, when we get to your Teresa, wherever you want to put her, we'll mention it again. But we can just fully talk about it.
We can talk about it.
Teresa, for some reason, is someone where any minute they're on camera, they are inherently entertaining, right?
Yeah.
I mean, from everything they say, everything they do, everyone wants to be in their orbit. She was a standout from the very beginning.
She got married on the show. She went to jail on the show. The list goes on and on.
What did she say? She got married, divorced?
Yeah,
Did she include
divorced.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know how much credit to give Teresa for just showing things that happened in her life when that's the point of a reality show. But she did go through a lot
Table flip.
on the show. Table flip is the first iconic moment on New Jersey, and it also comes out of nowhere. Teresa has not expressed her anger at all at that point, and then something about I forget what happens. I think does Danielle Staub tell Teresa to like be quiet for a second? I forget what the impetus.
Pay attention, please.
Oh, right. And then Teresa fully just
Arrested? Engaged 19 times?
she just is so filled with rage. And then Joe has to hold her back basically.
I feel like he was like laughing.
Yeah, he was laughing. He loves it. He was like kissing her.
They probably like majorly fucked that night.
Oh my God, he was so turned on by Teresa for sure. And then that was the spark. That was the first iconic moment that, got New Jersey on the map.
Yeah.
And then after that, Teresa held the grips on this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was about Teresa. She starts a feud with Caroline Manzo early in the series where she says that Caroline is a white bread Italian, right?
Yeah.
And that is way too much for the Manzo family to take it leaves them with a feud, I think, the rest of the Manzo trajectory.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot Manzo's had a spinoff. A 3-season spinoff that I think was pretty much a flop.
What was it called?
The Manzo Boys and Their Mom. No, it was
Wasn't
called
it like Bringing Up Manzo or something?
It was called Making It with the Manzo Boys and Their Mother Caroline.
Okay. At the car wash.
Do you remember Alfie?
Yes.
What was the Chris,
Chris.
Alfie, Caroline's husband, that sweet, sweet man.
What was the daughter's name?
I don't remember. God damn. But anyway,
It's been a while.
It's there's a reason. Well, first of all, there's a reason why for me Caroline Manzo is not around. She just she couldn't sustain it. I can't give her credit for being there for 4 seasons and then leaving, or 5 seasons, even though I guess we're doing that with Kim Zolciak or you did. But Teresa just had to be there for all 14 years, and she kept it consistently entertaining the entire time. And she is New Jersey. She's why it exists.
Sprinkle cookies.
Yeah, what she hated that Melissa.
Yeah. Threw them in the garbage. She
Yeah.
likes pinoli cookies. She says ingredients.
Right.
She says cumin.
Yep. Instead of what, cumin?
Yeah.
Yeah. What else to say? I mean, her feud with her brother is what the last 7 seasons of this show have been about, or whenever. Like when Joe Gorga and Melissa got hired in season 3, there was so much tension that they fight in like the premiere episode.
The christening.
The christening. Joe and Joe are basically at war with each other right from the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I mean, I think that just seeing that dynamic over the years has been so interesting, and you root for them to be back together, eventually. But it just seems so hard. And then my favorite moment of all time in New Jersey history is the horse psychologist. What is it? You know what I'm talking about?
The equine therapy.
Yeah, equine therapy. I think that's my favorite scene in all of New Jersey. But I forget if Teresa's too scared to hold the horse hoof.
I don't remember.
Yeah. But anyway.
Her jail storyline is amazing. And then her bodybuilder storyline.
Yes.
Her Namaste era.
Right.
The Namaste era didn't last very long, but
no, it was 2 seasons, and then she fully did a Walter White and just went back even worse than before.
Yeah.
All right. Well, but she has to be there.
Yeah.
Good for
Major.
both of us.
She's
Okay.
on the pantheon.
All right. Who's your? What are we on? 8.
Yes. I think I'm gonna do Ramona.
Okay, great. Let me, because I went down your list and we saw where Teresa is.
Yeah.
Ramona is my number 3.
Okay.
So
I know you love her.
Yeah, so we'll just talk about her now, and then when I get to 3, we'll just reiterate or whatever. So Ramona's your 8.
Yeah. I tacked her on last because I think at first when I couldn't decide, she was in my side, but I'm like, be realistic. She's major, but she just pisses me off. So I didn't want to put her on, but she's iconic. So, I mean, we goddamn named this podcast Turtle Time. I had to put her on. She is filled with memorable moments. I think a lot of the way that we interpret other characters is how they react to her.
Yes.
Her walking across the bridge with Bethany is unforgettable.
Yes.
She just does not give a fuck about what she says or how she comes off. It's what can I say?
Yeah, no, seriously, I'm thinking about Ramona. I'm like, it's hard for me to identify what I love about Ramona and why she's my top 3. First of all, in terms of entertainment, I don't think I've ever been more entertained. There's only 2 more for me that are more entertaining than Ramona, and that's subjective. I could almost make the case for Ramona. She's been there the entire time. She is such a staple of New York that you can't not mention her.
Yeah.
Everything revolves around Ramona in some way. They all have this love-hate relationship with Ramona, which I feel like we have too as we're talking about it. Like, I love so many things about Ramona, but she's a complete there's so much dichotomy, I guess, in Ramona, where it's like you can also hate her because she does the worst things ever.
Yeah.
But when she's right, you love her because she's completely unfiltered. And I mean, she's responsible for most of the she's a part of all of the iconic moments of Roni.
Take a Xanax.
Oh my
sit
God.
down.
I love it so much. Yeah, you're right. Bethany Bridge, her presence on every single cast trip. She starts the running to the rooms with Sonia to get the best room.
Yes.
She starts that whole trope
Yeah.
of finding the best room whenever they go on vacation.
Yeah. She's a great embarrassing mom figure.
Totally.
Her marriage until it was strong until it wasn't. They were a great historic couple.
Yeah.
I loved seeing they would show the photos of her from the 80s and her fitness gear. That was always a highlight.
Yeah, I love it. She has this playful rivalry with Luann the entire time, like where Luann and her take digs at each other, but they like love each other ultimately. But there's still some antagonism there too.
Yeah.
Like she secretly dismisses the cabaret that Luann does and stuff. Like I do like that there's still some like pettiness between them.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Like Carol had to be like, Ramona, you're crazy, but I love you.
Yeah. Eventually, I think you take her with a grain of salt, but you end up being on Ramona's side for the most part. Like you
just have to accept her for who she is.
She's endearing.
Yeah.
Right? Until
she ultimately, I think, became a harder pill to swallow as she became more problematic politically. Like we lived in a fun and ignorant space before a certain time, and then post 2020 she became harder for me to enjoy when she would be at like Mar-a-Lago all the time.
Okay.
But it's like, what do you expect?
I'm trying to all of these additions are based on what I've seen mostly from 100% from the show. So you telling me that she parties at Mar-a-Lago, I have tried to turn a blind eye to that. But I understand why that would factor in. I mean, that definitely has validity. If I found out someone was doing something like that, it changes my opinion. But I'm trying to base this fully on my Roni enjoyment.
Yeah.
But I do think season 13, she was sort of responsible for why Andy wanted to scrap this entirely, even though Southern Charm, for some reason, got a pass.
Yeah.
I mean, you could almost say what Catherine did was objectively way more awful than what Ramona did with her talks with Ebony, and Southern Charm didn't get fully scrapped.
No.
So,
but Catherine was out.
But she got another season after that.
Oh, okay.
So
I think she just, more importantly, was like too difficult to deal with. Catherine, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure Ramona rides that line.
Totally.
I'm sure she's almost gotten too difficult. But She's a staple of Roni. All of the best moments of Roni have Ramona in them, and I love her, and she's my number 3. So we'll harp on that next time when we get to 3.
Okay.
Okay, so is it me now?
Yes.
Number 7.
Yes.
I think this is easy to talk about, and everyone will know why. Number 7 is Luann.
Okay. She's on my list.
Okay, where at?
I would put her.
I like that your top 10 is not ranked. You can just, I guess, well, why don't you put her, do you want to, well, no, you can't put her at 7. It's just however you feel.
I was going to say maybe I'll put, well, no, I'm not going to say it because I think she's higher up.
Okay. All right. Well, when you want to solidify her, we'll just bring it up again.
Okay.
But let's talk about Luann. Okay. So for me, Luann has one of the best full arcs in terms of her character as a person from the start of Roni to where she is now. I think we've talked about this. She starts out holier than thou, the classiest person that's ever tried to, appear on camera. She couldn't even be referred to by her first name. She was telling Bethany, to
when it's a driver, it's Miss Delisep's.
Yeah, she could not have been. What's that? High and mighty, lording over the cast members, talking about how déclassé everything was. She wouldn't be caught dead at catch if you're taking this in contemporary Roni times.
Yeah.
And then she got so humbled throughout the years. She had first in season 6 or whatever, when they demoted her to a friend of, Andy Cohen said that she was so difficult that they just said, okay, we're going to do this without you. You are fully demoted to friend of now. And after that, Luann's hubris was put in check.
Yeah.
And I feel like around then she became a completely different person. Also, the drinking issues came to light. Her getting
What
arrested.
season did she get divorced?
From the Count?
Yeah.
I think it was only season 2.
Okay.
She got humbled by that.
Yeah.
The Count wasn't
I think
around.
the Count is bad.
The Count? What are you talking about? The Count de Lesseps is bad?
Yeah.
What happened
Do
to
you
him?
remember that one reunion when...
Oh, he's anti-Semitic.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Is that the time you're talking about?
That was crazy.
Luann was like...
They just kind of skirted right over that.
That was before... I don't know why Andy didn't want to dig a little deeper. Luann was like, the Count would be so upset if he found out I was dating Jock, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And Andy
he's
goes,
Jewish?
Yeah, Andy goes, why? And she goes, because he's Jewish. And Andy goes, what? And then I feel like, right? It's something like that.
It's something like that where she just implies that her ex-husband hates Jews.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck?
Right. And they just, they don't really belabor that point. Was he like a Dutch Count?
Oh gosh, this is a good test. So it was the Suez Canal is
Was
what
named
his
after
family brought.
Right.
And that's a part of history that is deleted from my brain. But it was on The Crown. If you watched The Crown, the Suez Canal incident or induction was on that show.
Did they say this is the family de Lesseps?
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
Whoa, on The Crown?
Yeah.
Whoa, so they got a shout out. Wow, Luann must have loved that episode.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until now how how there was so much legacy on Roni in the early days, like Sonia, obviously, with the Morgan family attachment. De Lesseps, Suez Canal. Carol was like a Kennedy affiliation.
Radziwill,
Radziwill, damn. There was a lot of old history there with that cast.
Totally. That's what you want from New York.
Yeah.
Old
So
money.
How do you feel about Luann if this is your one time to talk about her?
Iconic, especially watching Crappie Lake now. I think I've passed through the valley and onto, because I think for a while she was a sort of a joke. The cabaret was a joke on the show, and she was a lunatic who, was giving Sunset Boulevard vibes and was just totally unaware of how she came off, and it was just kind of weird and sad. And even when we went to her show, when was that? A year ago?
Yeah.
It was this is kind of dark. And now...
You thought that was dark?
Well, let's just say I had to drink a lot to be there.
We never talked about this. I loved that cabaret performance.
I mean, it was fun, but remember then shortly after she got barfed on at her show? It's just
That's dark to you, though? Why is that dark?
That she got barfed on by an audience member because everyone at her show has to be so blackout.
I just think of that as an indication of how much fun people are having and how people want to party with.
Okay.
You think it's because people have to get blackout drunk to suffer through her cabaret?
I mean, are you saying that you don't think that people go as a joke?
I think there is.
Whereas she thinks that she is
No.
a talented star.
No, she knows there is irony inherent in this.
I think the ratio of
production.
irony is negligible.
It's fully irony proof, if I remember correctly. It's
Yeah.
her doing silly songs that are huge hits in her vein.
Yeah, and she
It's-
jokes about like getting arrested and stuff like that.
It's her hits. She answers Q&As, and she's very unguarded. What's that called? She's very open.
Yeah.
She makes fun of herself.
Sure.
I feel
But
like she,
you remember when they were like in Miami and she goes and walks to her poster and is like, "Here's my poster for my show." Like she had sort of lost it, and all the other housewives, including Ramona, were kind of like, "You need to get a grip. Like, you're fucking going crazy about this cabaret shit."
But okay, wow. I'm conflicted about how to talk about this, and I don't even know what to say. Even if you build something ironically, like let's say The Room, for example, and you're Tommy Wiseau, he gets to take credit and validation, and I'm not even saying the cabaret is even close to The Room. There is some merit to what you built and
Sure.
being a part of it, and I get the sense that Luann has packed her show filled with irony to where I wasn't. Oh God, I just hit the mic stand. I wasn't watching it ironically. I fully enjoyed hearing her sing "Money Can't Buy You Class," and
Yeah.
I liked the Q&A.
I think that she's gotten to a better place, which is what I was saying with like Crappy Lake. Crappy Lake is fully silly.
Yes.
Like they've finally landed into, I mean, Sonya's been there, but like, you know,
Yeah.
it's goofy.
She's taking a page out of Sonya's book, how
Yes.
Sonya has always been.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm saying that now that they've fully embraced the goofiness and you can fully just be like, this is so funny and just like
Yes.
not taking itself seriously, you can fully enjoy it. You can relax
Yes.
in that we're all on the same page.
Right.
Whereas I think over the years, it took her a while to get to that understanding where I think it was giving Sandoval concert where he thinks he's as good as any other act.
I disagree. I didn't get the sense that Luann thinks she is actually doing good up there, like that this is an award-winning performance. I feel like it has embedded irony, whereas Sandoval is making you watch this show fully as I'm a performer and you should like this because I'm doing good renditions of these songs. Luann had so many moments in the show where she's poking fun at herself, and I think she knows there's kitsch to this entire thing. But
Sure.
maybe it took her a long time
I
to
think
finally
we've
settle
finally
in.
landed in
But I didn't
that
know you had to
comfort
be
zone.
black. That's why you were blackout drunk at that show, because you thought it was so dark.
It's just
I remember you being
it's
blackout
goofy.
drunk. Okay.
It's goofy.
Okay. All right. Well, so now though you're saying, like, I feel like this is the arc of self-awareness for Luann. She fully accepted what people like about her, what people didn't like about her.
Yeah.
Where the cabaret stands in her career and what it means to people, and now she is the best version of herself that has been honed throughout those 14 years on Roni.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But we love her.
Love.
Okay. Was that that was mine.
Yes.
Okay.
But
All right.
she was on my list, but I'm thinking she's gonna be 5.
Okay. All right. Well, when we get to her, we'll just say that was Luann.
Okay, so wait, that was your 7.
Yes.
So I have to say my 7?
Yep.
Okay. Well, okay. Maybe I'm going to put I think I'm going to put Teresa at 7.
Okay. That's great. I mean, Teresa, I think that position is actually good because I feel like Teresa's sort of low on my list for how much I love her, but wait, what is she? She's 8 for me, 7 for you.
Yeah.
And I don't think we really have to talk about Teresa more,
Yeah, no,
right?
no.
I mean, so I feel like we're going to actually speed up our
Yeah.
time because we've already hit a lot of these people.
Yeah.
Okay, so Teresa's your number 7.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do my number 6?
Sure.
Because I feel like there's going to be some overlap here.
Okay.
Number 6, Sonia Morgan.
Okay.
Is she in your top 10?
I think was going to be my 6.
Oh, good. Okay, so let's have this is our 6 talk.
Okay.
Okay, so what is there to say that is not instantly inherent anytime you watch Sonia, that is just not why everyone loves Sonia. She is the perfect blend of self-aware enough and funny enough to know when you're playing a shtick in a character and playing it up for people, but also unself-aware to where the moments where like she's screaming over the Morgan letters or she's talking about her toaster oven or businesses or not paying her interns, the perfect balance of shocking, embarrassing, silly, but then also funny enough to justify it. It's like she's the perfect housewife.
It's honestly shocking that she wasn't an OG because she feels like an OG.
She didn't want to be. She what's that called? She refused the call. The hero's journey. She refused the call. I think it was because the marriage was on the fritz, but she was still married to the Morgan man.
Isn't she like low key in an earlier episode?
Yes, she's at like I think is she not on until the third season? I think she's not on until the third. I mean, she feels like she's been there the entire time, but she is like how Dorinda was popping up at all these events. Like you can see her, but right out of the gate, Sonia just comes out swinging.
Yes,
and she has to deal with Kelly, then Simone.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, Sonia is like such a pinnacle of Scary Island, and the way that she handles Kelly just saying, well, now we're just making fun of someone that's going crazy. What did she say?
Something like that. And she goes, oh no. And then when Bethany and Luann and Ramona and Alex all get up, she's like, you're going to leave me with Kelly? Like she doesn't want to be with Kelly.
She's like, don't leave me here with this freak.
She has a very good read on Kelly. And I feel like she was trauma bonded with all of them from Scary Island.
Do you think that Luann resents not going on that trip?
Absolutely every day of her life.
I was just thinking about how it's crazy that she wasn't there. And I feel like at the time she was like, thank God I'm not there. And then remember she like gets lunch with like Jill and she's like, I think I'm going to go. And she's like, don't go.
Yes, I know. Yeah. Jill basically stops it. And then also I think at that same lunch you're talking about, Luann goes, oh, were they talking about me when you talked to them? I bet they were talking about me. What did they end up saying about me? Like she was very self-absorbed at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, Scary Island for me is by far my favorite moment of all time.
Totally.
Housewives.
It's undeniable.
Yeah. So Sonia, anything else to say about the treasure of Sonia Morgan?
No, she's just like great, a key into New York. Every time we hear her talk, she talks about someone else that she's dated historically.
Yes.
She lived that Morgan lifestyle. She still has that townhouse. It's just so great.
Yes. And then also underrated, but I think everybody thinks about it, is that how the actual real friendship between Ramona, Luann, and Dorinda, that foursome is powerful as hell.
Totally.
They all love each other, but they can all bicker with each other. They can all get mad at each other. Like that is a powerful group of four people.
Totally.
And they sullied it completely.
Totally.
All right.
Well, I'm about to pull a Sonia because I need a diaper. I need to pee again.
Okay. That's exactly what Sonia would do. All right. And that's the hour mark. So that's good. And we're back.
This whole process is making me so nervous. I hate making absolute choices.
Is it helping at all to do it a little bit on the fly after we talk about it? Or is it?
Yeah. I think it was so impossible for me to do a full 10, 9, 8, 7 countdown.
Yeah.
That being able to just vibe on it as we go feels nice.
Yeah.
I hope I don't get left with a bunch of stinkers at the bottom. Just kidding.
Who would your stinkers be?
No, there's not. There's only good ones left.
Okay, good. All right. So should I do my 5?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going for it fully. I'm saying my number 5 is Nene.
Okay.
Which is she on your top 10?
Yeah.
But you don't know where to place her yet?
I think so. I made Luann my 5. So I think I was gonna put I'm like, does she crack the top 3?
Well, I was thinking she would be on your Mount Rushmore.
Yeah,
Is that true? So
yeah, I mean, how many are there? 4 Mount Rushmore?
4 presidents, and let me tell you who they are.
So she's definitely top 4.
Okay, good. Okay, so she's my 5th. I have my top 4. What is there to say about Nene overall? I guess I'll just start by saying I think she is probably top 3 funniest. I mean, almost people living, but definitely top 3 funniest housewives, which for me, humor, that's what I respond to the most. And that's one of the things I like about people the most. Nene is so funny, to where
Yes.
almost everything she says is one of the funniest things ever.
Yeah.
And she is so clearly the star right from the start, like we already talked about with Kim. Their dynamic, and just specifically Nene, they were like, whatever the hell this is, we need her every single season. Like, she was just the star right from the gate.
Yeah. No, she's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And she had a huge breakout. Like, she was on like Glee
Right.
and The New Normal. Like, Hollywood came calling.
Ryan Murphy specifically loved her so much from watching Atlanta
Yeah.
that he was like, I want you in everything.
Bottle
I
it and
do.
sell it.
Yes.
Remember that episode when they go to lunch in Beverly Hills?
I don't think I remember that.
They, I don't remember what season it was, but it was right before she started doing those shows, and they got lunch together. He was on camera, and they're laughing. He's like loving it, and she tries to call Tyler Perry in front of him. She goes, "I have his number. I'll call him right now." He's like, "Call him," and she calls, and it's like,
oh my God.
and they
Oh.
just like erupt laughing. It's like a very funny lunch.
Yeah. Oh man, it's always so sad when somebody calls somebody and then their number's been disconnected.
But
or-
like, it's not embarrassing because she was laughing.
Yeah,
Like, she
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
"That's hilarious."
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that weird older man that she's dating that gives her the watch.
Yes.
That moment was amazing.
She still has that watch.
Oh, she does.
She talked about it on Carlos King. She still has it. I think she wore it.
When she's like, "It's getting weird."
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, I mean, I don't know what else to say other than she has probably the most iconic thing, like catchphrases or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it, things that she said. Yeah. That, I think about so nasty and so rude.
Yeah.
Some of the best taglines of all time.
Yeah.
She,
The ghetto.
yeah, she, like, everyone basically had to live in the shadow of Nene on that show.
Yeah.
And anytime they tried to like go after her, I mean, I feel like everyone, like her and Candy's simmering feud lasts the entire time.
Yeah.
Nene and Candy just do not get along. They do not like each other. And it's like, I guess it's like Marlo and Kenya now, to where they just like let each other exist. But anytime they can take a shot at each other, they do. So I guess, I don't know, that's a huge component
Yeah.
of what makes Atlanta good.
Also,
is that-
Greg was goated.
Oh, yes. So good. Yeah, she was very open about her family struggles. She showed everything.
I hope that Bryce is okay. She was saying he has drug issues.
Yeah, I thought, I loved how honest she was on that podcast. She was just
Yeah.
like, I am so numb to this whole thing because he's been doing this for the last 10 years now.
Yeah.
And there's nothing a parent can do if your child does not want help.
Yeah.
I can no longer still struggle, and try to do this if he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So I felt like that was, very sad, but I liked that she was able to talk like that about it.
Yeah. Sad.
I mean, you feel Nene's absence. I mean, she is what's missing from Atlanta now.
Mm-hmm.
If her and Portia came back, I feel like it would be the biggest franchise, in history. Again, I feel horrible that she got to the place where she felt like she had to do that and sort of scorch the earth with her and Bravo. I think that doesn't bode well for her ever coming back. But while she was on, it was like, a meteor, rocketing through the
Nene
earth.
at a reunion is something special.
Yeah, seriously. Anything else to say? I mean, she's responsible for Atlanta's popularity, probably single-handedly.
Yeah.
She didn't give a shit about who she, went to war with on the show because she was so powerful. Her dynamic with Cynthia was so interesting because Cynthia clearly loved Nene and was
Friendship
so upset.
contract.
Yeah, and was so upset any fluctuation in Nene's relationship. That was
Yeah.
sort of Cynthia's anchor. I love when I think eventually Portia and Nene became friends after a little bit of issues or whatever, and I loved their relationship.
Remember when Nene called Sheree's house Neverland because it was never going to be built?
Yeah, amazing. Amazing. You could tell Andy Cohen had such reverence for Nene and loved her. She talks about how in the early days of Watch What Happens Live, she was called all the time. And she thinks that she was, very responsible for Watch What Happens Live popularity at the start because they were relying on Nene because she's so open, vocal, and funny, about everything. So yeah, she has to be on a top 10 list, I mean, for me personally, and I think if you were just going to do an all-time objective list, she would be on everybody's.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think I feel confident to put her at number 3, so we'll get there.
Okay.
She was your 4th.
I think no. She was my 5th. I
Okay.
have 4 coming up.
Okay. Should
Yeah, you
I do
want to
4?
do? Okay, wait. Okay,
because Luann was my 5th. We already talked about her.
Oh, okay. So it's my 4th.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm solo alone, and I think
God.
so. I'm at my.
I'm
Mount
literally
Rush-
scared.
I'm at my Mount Rushmore. This is
Yeah.
this is mine. Number 4, Vicky.
Okay.
Is Vicky in your top 10?
Dude, she's in my Mount Rushmore.
She is.
Yeah.
Top 4.
OG of the OC.
Oh, good. But I thought we were talking about Vicky, and you didn't like Vicky very much.
She also, like Ramona, pisses me off, but she's iconic.
Okay, good. Okay, so I'm different. I personally love her. I
Yeah.
personally think she's an amazing housewife, and also I know why her place in history matters. So it's like it's both for me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so who is she in your?
She was going to be my next one, so
Oh,
we can just
okay.
talk about it together.
Okay, so I mean, I get she's controversial, so maybe we should justify what's to love about Vicky. Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
I think Vicky is completely underrated by everyone as a housewife, even by Andy Cohen. She is, I mean, I say this about every time I'm justifying a cast member, but she is the fuel of the OC that perpetuates the entire series because of what she was willing to show on camera, her family life, her relationship with Dawn, her relationship with her children, her business.
Yeah.
Like she encapsulated she showed off every aspect of her life and was able to be entertaining, funny. I
Yeah.
think Vicky is secretly just very funny
Yeah.
all the time. And generally, I like her takes on everything, almost like Kim Richards, to where if she's fighting with Tamra, I'm on Vicky's side.
Mm-hmm.
When she didn't like the newbies, I can sort of see that why she is, jealous of her position on the show, and she's being antagonistic towards them. And then, I don't know, for the most part, just I love watching Vicky. I think everything she does is pretty entertaining, and it's only when her and Tamra and Shannon felt threatened on the show and the newbies when they got sort of embarrassing to watch, but I can't fault them for that. I think it was just their desperation to continue to be entertaining on the show.
Yeah.
It just got to a point. But overall, I love everything about Vicky, and I can even in my mind give her the benefit of the doubt on the Brooks cancer scandal and say that I don't think she was involved enough in that thing.
Yeah.
And maybe at a certain point she started to realize it could have been a scam, but it was too late and she didn't want to be embarrassed. But I think for the most part, Brooks took her for a goddamn ride.
Yeah.
And she was innocent.
No, I don't really think she was like in cahoots
Okay.
with him.
A lot of people just fully think that she knew the entire time.
No, I think, I think she was, similarly to like Erica Jane, which I think Erica Jane's more sinister than Vicky, but like I think denial can get you pretty far.
Yes.
Of just like being like, I don't want to know.
Yeah, I think so too. I just think that she just kept that treatment on its own, and she just trusted Brooks. She didn't really think about him. I mean, it was obviously a horrible choice because even if Brooks wasn't doing this scam, he was an awful person.
Yeah.
He never said one thing that was like engaging, fun, interesting. He was just like this black hole of. He didn't do one thing remarkable the entire time he was on the
Girth
show.
Brooks.
Girth Brooks, awful. Everything you heard about him was awful. He'd get drunk. He'd treat people like shit. Whatever. Yeah, Brooks. That was just Vicky in a love drought.
Totally.
She was suffering
Love
from
tank, empty love tank.
Totally. She was suffering from what she did to Dawn. She's still, like we just talked about last week, what she did to Dawn was horrible, and she still regrets it.
I can't believe she didn't know what she had when she had it with Dawn.
Yeah.
Everyone in the world knew that he was the best.
I know. He one of the best house husbands. I'm so glad that Vicky was in your top 4. I thought for
I
some
have
reason,
respect for the OGs, okay?
and you personally love her though.
I love to watch her. I think it got, again, less fun when she started to sort of shut down, and something that happens to almost all OGs where they decide that they're bigger than the show or better than the show, and that they only need to participate on their own terms becomes hard to watch. And I feel like back in the day when she was just, you know, the main attraction, seeing her at her insurance office, wheeling and dealing. Remember Lori just worked for her?
Yes.
And then later when Lori marries that rich man and he sends her a car as a present, Vicky's like, "You're the luckiest girl in the world."
Because Dawn isn't like doing anything for her. He's just at the house, like taking out the garbage
She's
or
the
whatever.
breadwinner.
Yeah.
You know, when she goes and visits Michael in college
Oh.
with the beers, that's iconic.
I've never been more sad, I think, for someone in all of Housewives franchise history than when the way Michael treats his mother. It is awful the way he
I
treated
get it
her.
though.
You do?
Why did she think he would enjoy that?
Because she thinks she has this full rose-colored glasses. She thinks her son would love a surprise. He could have handled that, obviously, so
Sure.
much better. He makes her cry in front of all of his friends. I mean, she shouldn't have done that. Obviously, that took it to another level. But
She is too much. Like, her kids have to have such boundaries with her, otherwise
Yes.
she'll eat them up.
I find, like Sonia, that her balance of self-awareness and non-self-awareness, or what's the opposite of self-awareness? Like not having self-awareness,
Yeah.
is perfect.
Uh-huh.
She can be embarrassing and lame and do stuff when, you know, and then she knows what's good about her. She can be really funny. I love her business aspirations. I love that she always loved Kodo Insurance and she never left that.
Yeah.
Like all she's focused on is just building that empire.
Yeah.
And now Michael is like rich as hell.
Yeah.
Like he got the runoff
He
from his
made
business.
the right choice joining her.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And he tried to like, you know, not do it. And then eventually he just came crawling back.
Yeah.
And
Well, it seems like he has like forged his own path. He lives in San Diego. He can
Yes.
probably do it from down there. Maybe he
Yeah.
opened a branch down there. But yeah, like I feel like also a lot of, even though you hate Tamra, I think that Tamra catapulted Vicky, like them together sort of like made each other shine, because Tamra caused so much drama with Vicky. And I feel like lots of Vicky's like outbursts and like getting upset were based around Tamra, which I think were iconic moments of
Yeah.
them like screaming at each other.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the way Tamra treated Vicky, I think caused a lot of, horrific outbursts from Vicky and made for good TV. I'm thinking of, I don't think I already said this, but Vicky has the first, I think, iconic moment in the OC with the minivan thing in the first season. That is the iconic
family
moment that
van.
family van that people point to. Also, I remember their trip to, where do they always go? Puerto Vallarta?
Uh-huh.
Is that where she has a house?
On delays.
Yes, like the first time Vicky shows all of her partying when she's like basically like upside down, doing tequila shots.
She
and
did
partying.
like 4 shots on Watch What Happens Live, and she was like, "I feel great. I want to whip it up." And Andy, I feel like hasn't been drinking as much on the show, but with them, he was like, "All right, fuck it, let's go."
Yeah, her actual whoop it up instincts are pure.
Yeah.
And I love when she just wants to party.
Totally.
Yeah. So, anything else to
Yeah.
say?
I'm rolling all the clips in my mind.
Me too. I can't even remember all the specifics of the
Bunko
first.
parties, when her mom dies.
Oh
I mean, that's
my
really
God.
sad, but that's like a crazy moment.
There are not very many instances where someone has had their reaction to that tragic of news and had it,
Yeah.
preserved forever. It is, I don't think I'll ever be able to watch that
It's
again.
really sad.
Megan warned me because I only watched all of OC like within the last few years, and she was
Yeah.
like, "Get ready. This is like rough."
Yeah,
And
that's
it
at
is-
Shannon's house, right?
I think so. They're all just having a party, and it just like happens out of nowhere.
Yeah.
She had no idea.
Yeah, she like didn't have service. It was crazy.
Oh man.
But yeah, we've gotten into how her daughter's husband is a demon, and I don't like that.
One of the most underrated or like not talked about scenes is how awful he treated Lydia's mother. That should have
Her
been
sweet glitter mom.
That should have been 2 seasons worth of drama. If
Yeah.
they had if Lydia had stayed on the show. I feel like Lydia was, for her mental health, didn't want to be
Yeah.
on. But he had a full blown PTSD breakdown on
Yeah.
her mom and treated her like shit. He called her a bitch.
It was terrible.
It was off, and it's all like off mic or off camera,
Yeah.
but on mic. It was like horrific.
No, I feel like they really should have gone in on that harder. Like, because Brianna kind of stayed on his side
Yeah.
at the reunion, if I remember correctly. Like,
She does, and Vicky stays on his side too.
It's whack.
It's the first time ever I thought that she was in the wrong.
Yeah.
What's Vicky? Brianna?
yeah.
That's the first time Brianna, like I love Brianna the entire time, but when she defended the indefensible with her husband, he had a full blown talk about Ralph maniac moment.
No,
He
it
went
was horrible.
horrible to
Horrible.
someone who's the least deserving.
I know.
I
That
love
sweet
Lydia too. I
woman.
should have put Lydia's honorable mention. I love Lydia. I think she's so good on
I mean,
the OC.
specifically just for when she dressed up as Charlie Chaplin. That's the most important moment
Yes.
she ever gave us.
Okay, so Vicky,
Okay.
did we do Vicky? I think we did Vicky justice, right?
Yes. Okay. And so then I already put Nini at number 3, so we already talked about her.
I think we know our top two. Because I know for a fact. I know
they
for a
have
fact.
to be.
I know for a fact.
Now
that
it's the order, though.
So I know who you put. I know you're 1 and 2. I think for a fact. So now we're going into I said Ramona is 3. She was your
Okay.
8, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't have to justify Ramona anymore. We just have to justify why I put her so much higher, and I'm not going to do that. I already articulated why I love Ramona so much, and I could vouch for why I think Ramona is better than all of the cast members. And yeah, so she's on my Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
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 So do you want to say our number 2 at the same time? Because I think we're. Oh my god! I'm so afraid you're gonna go. I'm so afraid you're gonna go Tamra, and I'm gonna be like, "What the hell?"
I kept her an honorable.
Okay, so let's just do our 2 out loud. You want to? Our number 2? Can we do
Okay.
a 3, 2, 1?
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Lisa Vanderpump. Did you say yours? Oh, because wait, are you deciding what your 1 and 2 are? You should have made that decision. Did you do? Yeah, I think
I mean, we know who the other one is then, right?
Yeah. Let's
Right?
keep it. No, let's keep it as a guess because there might be people listening. I don't know how you could, but there might be people listening who don't know
I
us enough to know.
swapped the order, but
wait-
maybe let's just agree. I'm just going to move it because I was so on the fence. LVP, it was between LVP and
Lisa-
one other, so I'm going to put her number 2.
Okay. Lisa Vanderpump. You don't like a lot of these where I feel like they are almost self-explanatory. Lisa Vanderpump is what every Housewife franchise would want when they are casting
Oh my God.
the show.
She is unbelievable.
It
It's
gave
like
me
a wet
It
dream.
gave me exactly. It gave me chills. I don't know why. It honestly just sent a chill through my body about thinking about what the casting directors
I mean,
found.
since you're a casting person,
Yes.
like you like writhe around at night imagining what if we found this magical woman.
Hey, so yeah, I did see this casting tape the other day. I don't know who it was. It was this British woman who came over from London. She's married to this British guy who's a restaurateur. She has a dog named Jiggy. She's actually really funny in every way.
She's like gorgeous.
She's
rich as fuck.
right.
Like funny as fuck. Amazing way with words.
Probably the most clever wordsmith, which is a sign of being clever. Like
Yeah.
one of the smartest, craftiest housewives. Up her humor level, not to step on your toes, but Nene,
No.
her, and I think our number 1
Yeah.
are the funniest, objectively funniest
Yes.
housewives. Like where they could all be comedians. Lisa, you wouldn't want to see her do comedy, but like,
Right.
they have that level of humor to where
Yeah.
they could be just comedian could be their sole job if they wanted it to be.
Yeah.
So
No, Lisa is like, since we've been talking about obviously Vanderpump so much, we've thought about her a lot, and I truly still can't get over that they found her
No.
and that she was so down to do it. Because usually, I mean, I guess she did have a sort of tiny acting career way back when, so
Yeah.
she did express interest in being a star.
she was in like a music video, right? They
Yeah,
they
like
see
a
that black and white.
metal music video,
Yeah.
and then I think she was on like a soap, or there's some footage of her in like a bikini on a show or something. But
This was what she was made for. Just
totally,
let us see her life and the cast of characters that populate her life and that she befriends in
Yeah.
her universe. It's like it is like a Wizard of Oz portal that you went into, and you're like, there is a person that lives like this, and this is their life, and we get to see it. And she was so clearly the star of that franchise that after that, Kyle just has to basically befriend Lisa and hope to God Lisa stays her friend. Adrian Malouf can't stand Lisa after that. I mean, they all after that get completely jealous of Lisa.
Remember how Adrian's chef hated Lisa?
Bernie, one of the most evil.
Always eye rolling.
He is him and Lisa's house guest are the most
God.
two of the most evil people in the Bravo universe. It was Bernie and what was her
Frederick? Is that his name?
Frederick is sounding semi right. He is probably
The one
most
that pretended that his mother was a prostitute in France
Yeah.
and left him on a curb.
They started hanging out, those two. Bernie is it Bernice or Bernie? Bernie started
Bernie.
going uninvited to Sir parties to like confront Lisa. He also talked shit about her, but would never say it to her face. He was just so jealous of Lisa. It was really
That was fun
weird.
to watch, though.
Yeah,
like,
it was fun
she
to watch.
would be, come into the house while they were having a party. He'd be like, "Oh, is it that Vanderpump woman?"
Yes, I think he's like psychotic. and then I forget her house guest. Man, I think it's maybe Frederic. He did them so
Yeah.
dirty. Oh my
I
God.
mean-
The fallout with that.
Yeah, remember what? Didn't he come unannounced to a party too?
Yes, I think with Bernie.
Oh my God.
You know, he got invited by Brandy. He was friends with Brandy. He was doing that thing where he befriends a new cast member and like,
Yeah.
tries to sell
Cedric.
dirt on Cedric. Oh my God, I knew it was more evil than Frederick. Cedric and Bernie were two of the most devious villains in Beverly Hills history. And Lisa attracted all the horrors that, like, when someone who gets catapulted by fame,
Yeah.
all the hangers on, all the jealous people.
Yeah. Remember Ken was always like, Cedric's got to go.
Oh yeah.
Tell him he's got 5 days.
Cedric would go, Ken, are you sure? And he would just be hanging by the pool the entire day doing
He
nothing.
was like the true trope of like having a pool boy.
Oh, totally. I mean, what an interesting dynamic, but I knew that Cedric was pure evil.
Yeah.
And he really showed his true colors finally. Well, I mean, there's nothing to be said about Lisa that we haven't articulated 100 times.
Yeah.
One of the funniest housewives of all time, the most inherently interesting to where you could watch her in a room by herself and she would entertain the
Yeah.
camera with anything she does.
Yeah. One
She-
of the richest, presumably.
One of the richest. I mean, talk about spin-offs of where
Yeah.
you had so much entertainment in you that you had to go outside of your franchise to create
Yeah.
another one. She created the biggest spin-off franchise of all time, Vanderpump
Yeah.
Rules, and she is so integral to that, especially for the first 4 seasons or
Yeah.
5 seasons when they had to be at the restaurant. I mean, no one is going to even bat an eye that Lisa is our number 2.
Yeah.
It's just, she is the
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore.
I told
Her-
you, I've told this story on the pod before, but when I saw her at the airport pre-Housewives, but once I already knew who she was, I've never, like, I would have noticed her anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
She just exuded the star quality of someone, an eccentric, fun person.
yeah,
that
she
you-
looked wealthy. She looked glamorous. She had jiggy. It was,
Yeah.
I was like, who is that?
I was going to say, well, first off, to promote this episode, we should do, if we have Photoshop skills, we should do a Mount Rushmore of our top
yeah.
4, because I think they're in there.
yeah.
And then Lisa would be holding Jiggy for sure.
Yeah.
She would get Jiggy encapsulated.
Yeah.
Or like, he would also be built into the rock of Mount
Yes,
Rushmore with her,
definitely.
I think.
Totally.
I'm so excited that our number 1 is actually the same. I can't believe it. And I only heard you whisper it, so I don't know if it's fully true, but I know it is because I know the reverence we have for
Yolanda.
this person. I like to have fun, but I don't play games. Man, I'm kind of sad that Yolanda's not even in my top 10. But
I gave her a honorable.
yeah, she would definitely be an honorable for me. So let's just say it. If there's someone listening, I want to know if you're a little turtle cutie and you listen this whole way and you're saying who is their number 1. I want to hear from you
I'm
because
terrified that, like, what if somehow they're not the same?
if you had not mentioned this person, I think I would be just, if you're like, this is an honorable mention. I it could be. I don't know who I'm missing, but let's just say it.
Okay.
Let's go 3, 2, 1. Let's say it.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Bethany.
Bethany.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. It's okay. I'm so glad.
Okay. I think I knew that was the answer, but because she's so annoying now, I didn't want to give her the crown, but who are we joking?
I don't find her annoying now, but I understand what you mean. But I also
You have like a huge buffer for annoying women.
Yeah.
More than me.
And
Like
we will not
Ramona,
and we will
Bethany,
not and we will
Vicky.
not parse that any further. That is something that's just a part of me, and we won't talk about it. So I understand totally the Lisa Bethany 1 and 2. The
Yeah.
reason why do you mind if I go first
Yeah,
just
yeah.
to justify Bethany number 1? I'm watching Bethany getting married and
Yeah.
Bethany Ever After,
That
which
show is so
is
good.
and why I think Bethany is number 1. So first of all, you can talk about her arc on the show.
Yeah.
You could talk about her rags to riches story.
Yeah.
You could talk about her relationships. Also, the fact that she had a spinoff for 3 seasons that she was fully the face of. This isn't Vanderpump Rules, where there's a cast of characters that are even more vibrant sometimes than Lisa. Bethany is the anchor of that show, and I swear every single scene, Bethany is so funny on it, killing it.
Yeah.
And the cast of characters that are in Bethany's orbit that she finds just organically throughout that show
Yeah.
is like, it is the best spinoff of any. I mean, I
No,
haven't
it's
seen
so
Tardy for
good.
the Party, so I can't say that
Yeah.
Kim's, but I assume Bethany's is
No,
better.
Bethany getting married and Bethany Ever After, it feels like such a gift. Like
Yes.
you're like, I can't believe we get this. Like it's so premium.
It's
not like a spin-off. Like I feel like Tardy for the Party is fun, but it's like ancillary.
Yes.
It's like, sure, why not?
I'll take
Whatever. And Crappy Lake is kind of like that too, where it's
Right.
like it's fun, but it's extra.
Right.
Bethany Ever After, you're like, oh my God, like we get more access to our favorite.
Yeah, you saw the most tumultuous 3 years and busiest, most chaotic 3 years of her life,
Yeah.
and it's all there.
Yeah.
And I just think as a cast member, the fact that she is that entertaining, that she could justify a show fully on her own, and I love it as much as anything,
Yeah.
is just a testament to how amazing Bethany
Yeah.
is. And I mean, now we can get, I guess, more granular or whatever. I think I actually would give Bethany the humor level. I think she's actually funnier than Lisa. Like
Okay.
just generally,
Yeah.
I just think Bethany has the best sense of humor. More,
Yeah.
I guess, in line with what I consider just like 10 out of 10
Yeah.
jokes. Like she can make anything funny, off
Yeah.
the cuff, completely sporadic. All of her just like sporadic. I don't know, aside.
Which, like she is sort of voice of reason, so she's always doing commentary.
Yes.
Like Lisa is more, has quips and it's a little more close to the vest, whereas I feel like Bethany was like, what's she gonna say about like we need her point of view to
Yes.
like thread through
Yes.
what we're watching. Like
Yes.
she was the viewer's voice, the
Yes.
Greek chorus. She has a brain. She's also eccentric, but compared to like Ramona or Luann,
Right.
like remember when she goes, Luann gives her shit for driving a skinny girl car,
Yes.
and she's like, "That's the point, you dumb drag queen." And you're like,
I mean, Bethany can go toe to toe with anyone and annihilate them.
Yeah.
She's the best in feuds. She is so sharp.
Yeah.
She can go toe to toe with Ramona and leave Ramona decimated completely.
right. Oh my God, when she did go a little too far when she made Sonia cry about the cheater brand. That made me sad.
Yeah, Bethany was just really pissed, and I fully understand it. Sonia had to cry in that moment, unfortunately. Bethany, you go toe to toe with Bethany, she either leaves you crying or leaves
You don't want, if you mess with this bee, you better not miss.
That is a very true tagline, and I think Bethany is not overly antagonistic with people. She doesn't
No.
start from a place of hating people. She usually
hits
gives
a limit.
She gives people the benefit of the doubt until they cross her, and when you cross her, like,
Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
oh my God, her presence on Scary Island, even
And she's pregnant and she
tired,
still slays.
she slayed the shit out of that scene. Also, it can't go unremarked that her business, the rags to riches element of her
Bethany Bakes.
Yes, from Bethany Bakes to where you see her at a Vaughn's or a John's,
Yeah.
and she's going, "Please eat my cookies; they're free," and no one gives a shit
No.
about them. And then you see this brand get built in real time, from start to finish, to where it's sold, right?
For
like
$100 million.
$100 million. She's the first one to have a business business that just fully killed it.
Yeah.
First one, I mean, we have to just say, Bethany Claus, Bravo
Bethany
didn't take one
Claus.
penny.
No,
of
she
that.
like deleted that from the
Yeah.
contract
Yeah.
because she was like, "You're only paying me $7,000 for this whole entire season, which I'll take, but you're not allowed to take."
She pulled a Tim Gunn on that one.
Yeah.
She wrote that shit out of the contract, which was probably the best business decision ever.
Imagine like how much money she would have lost if she didn't.
Tons. She also, this is stuff that you don't give her credit for. You give her credit for how she dealt with it, but she had to deal with a horrific divorce from Jason.
Yeah.
You see
Who turned out to be a demon.
the entire trajectory, and you can see little glimpses of Jason's red flags if you watch the first season.
Yeah.
And then the next seasons, you just watch their relationship just fully, what's that called? Just crumble.
Yeah.
In shambles.
Yeah.
She gave everything to Bravo.
Yeah. On the spinoff, her like nannies are so funny.
Oh, everyone.
I know that we personally are obsessed with that food blogger guy.
Yes.
That she has on. Like she's like building this show with these characters that just the way she interacts with them is so entertaining.
She finds this guy Sean, who is the wedding planner, which he's just interesting, and their relationship is so interesting. She finds that the little assistant Mark or whatever, who's really, do you remember him? He's got spiky hair. I don't know. He's like, everyone in her orbit ends up being more entertaining because Bethany is there with them, like a sparring partner or an improv partner.
Yeah, and like we discussed, her and Carol's relationship was interesting to watch. She also, to a less successful degree, I watched her spinoff with Frederick, the $1 Million Listing spinoff, which I didn't enjoy as much because Bethany is good at a lot of things. I personally think she has terrible taste for interiors. I hate it. But it's crazy how much money she has, and like, to just have watched it from the very beginning where you're just like, love her, she's my favorite, and then to see her break through to the point where now she's just like, she sold only the liquor part of the brand for $100 million.
Right.
So like she still has all those other businesses and then like a ton of real estate.
I mean,
it's crazy.
I guess it's like, I feel like it's apparent, self-evident why Bethany is our number one. I'm glad she was our number one.
Yeah.
I'm like glad we could rally around Bethany. I think, what else is
Did we talk about her eating all that seafood on TikTok?
Yeah, I like all that. I think Bethany is very self-aware. So
I just wish there's something kind of depressing about her. I know that I think she thinks she's empowered by running her own, everything being on TikTok and, that's the modern way and whatever. And then she has her scrappy podcast where, we've discussed there'll be like 30-minute episodes or whatever.
Right.
I'm like, there's something kind of depressing where I'm like, just go on TV again. Like, if you want to be filmed this much, just like go on TV, take their 5 million or whatever.
And stop replicating like the premises of other shows, like the big shot. What was that?
Right. That was
HBO
awful. Did you watch that?
Yeah, but it was just like she wanted to have a apprentice type show, and then with the reality, she wanted to have those type of shows. I just want to see Bethany's life and see the stuff that she gets into. That's her at her best.
Yeah.
She's just, her life is what's interesting, not the way she's trying to create offshoots of her brand. I think she's just good, just entertaining, watching what she's doing.
Yeah, I know. I always think about, because she posts about, she's does all those skincare reviews, and then she's obsessed with watches. Like she just is like covering all these different topics, and in my brain I'm always like, she's such a know-it-all, and then I hear her saying in my mind, maybe I know it all,
right?
And I'm like, you're in my mind.
Bethany. Yeah, like she has a rebuttal to your criticism.
Then there's mention it all. I'm trying to think of all of the funny things that she's said over the years, but
I mean, she almost transcends quotables for me. Like she does have catchy things, but I think that almost 90% of what she says is just witty and fun, that she doesn't even really, she doesn't have to have a thing that you're like, oh, that was funny when she said that one time. Like almost everything she says is, catchy and quotable. So
there was did you send it to me? Someone did an impression of her eating the seafood in her hotel room.
I didn't.
And someone, I don't remember the comedian's name. She was very funny and very accurate. but she basically like had all the lingo down where like Bethany almost like, I think I've said this before, and I don't know if this is offensive to say, it feels like someone has Tourette's, but it feels like she like can't help but make a word play.
Yes.
Like she cannot not.
Yeah.
And there's a moment when she gets this seafood bag where it's like shrimp, crab legs, like corn on the cob, and she's like listing it out, and she's like, potato, and she's like 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4, and you're just like, she just like any connection she can make to an existing phrase, she'll always like bring it in.
Well, I think that goes to her being entertaining.
Yeah.
Like she knows for 20 seconds that just listing foods is not going to be entertaining. So if she can make a reference or try to be funny, she'll inject that 20 seconds with a little Bethany joke or reference or wordplay. I just think that's just a testament to just how entertaining she is no matter what she's doing.
Yeah.
Even those TikToks or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I mean, joke's on me. I've watched every spin-off show she's ever done. I've listened to her podcast. I watch her TikToks every time they come into my feed.
me too.
She's on a rampage against TJ Maxx right now. Have you been following that?
No, but I'm interested.
She bought Manolo Blahniks at TJ Maxx on sale, and someone commented that they didn't look right. And so it turns out that there's a scam at stores like that, not just stores like that, department stores too, where people buy an expensive brand and then return a fake.
What a good scam.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that scam is awesome. Oh my God, return fake
a
knockoff.
fake. Yeah. And then
shoes.
get the refund and then sell the real ones.
That's the best, one of the best scams I've ever heard
Clean.
of
It's clean.
because the people who are checking your
They don't give a shit.
return, they're like, I don't know what the hell this
Especially at TJ Maxx.
Right.
Maybe at like Neiman's or something, they'd be more like, what the hell?
I'm going to start doing that. It's not illegal, right? That's amazing. Yeah, I listened to the Jill and Bethany, the 2 podcasts they did.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, Bethany is, I mean, I can listen to her talk about anything.
Yeah.
She has good takes. She has strong takes.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're wrong. She has strong takes.
Yeah.
I love hearing what her takes are because I trust the person behind it, and I love hearing what she has to say about anything.
Yeah. I will say every time I've ever rewatched that moment when her and Jill essentially break up, and like, who was asking, I think, was it Andy asked maybe Sonia or Luann or something, like, do you think that they would have mended their friendship if she would have come upstairs? Isn't that, or like they like wouldn't get on the same page, remember?
Wasn't it that Bethany was downstairs and Bethany was going to come up, but Jill was like, I don't like being surprised.
Yeah.
And she was not like prepared with what she had to say.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a real detriment of Jill. That's
Yeah.
the right word. That's a disadvantage to Jill's personality, that she couldn't have an off the cuff moment without
Right.
having a rehearsed thing what she
Right.
wanted to say to Bethany. But yeah, I mean, I think that could have been repaired if she would have had that conversation.
Yeah, because it all felt very dumb. Like it was like not worth it at the time.
Jill will not admit this, but Jill was doing a bunch of shady shit behind the scenes. She was jealous of the press that other people were getting. She said that she wanted to be on like Bethany's spinoff, and that she wishes that she could have had a place on it.
Whenever Bethany would get an opportunity, Jill would be like, "Why don't I get that?"
When Bethany got the talk show to take over, she was like, "Oh, I just wanted to be like the guest on it every single week. I just want." Jill was trying to say it as like an endearing way. She was like, "I just want to be a part of it every single second that you're doing it. Like it's endearing or whatever." It's like Jill is. No one has been as desperate as Jill that I've ever seen.
And Andy has like straight up said that Jill was like the most high maintenance housewife
Yeah,
ever.
he said she was awful to production, and they fired her because she got so awful. And then we just saw that 10 years later, she's tanking Roni Legacy by demanding as much money as Luann and Sonia for Roni Legacy. So,
oh my gosh, when you just said the talk show, it reminded me of the part when they moved to Malibu on Bethany Ever After and like do the show from LA. And I'm like, there's so much.
I know. I need to get to that.
watch.
I'm at the very end of the first season of Bethany getting married, which is like you see their honeymoon, you see the birth of Bren.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's so good.
Peanut.
Okay,
So fun.
We want to do quick, just like who we left off that are in our like. I'll just say them, and maybe if you have, a couple. So Portia, I feel is very underrated, and I love her.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I think she would have been 11 for sure
Okay.
on my list. I think she's so funny. I think she's a great cast member. I miss her now that she's off Atlanta. I guess we don't
Yeah.
have to justify anything, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to make a special honorable mention for Portia.
Yeah, Portia and Phaedra
Phaedra.
for me.
Phaedra.
Phaedra is honestly rivals Nene in being funny.
Yeah.
Like, she's so fucking
And
funny.
she still has it. If you watch Ultimate Girls Trip Season 2, she is still, there's so much talent there that Bravo just can't have on there because Candy will not film with her anymore. You're really missing out
right.
on Phaedra.
Yeah.
Dorinda.
Yes. I put a star next to Dorinda because she was like, it felt wrong to leave her off the top 10.
Yeah, I feel bad about it too. I want to make a special carve out for Brandy.
Okay.
You don't have her in your honorable mention.
I
even?
considered it, but she didn't make the cut.
Okay.
But
All right.
I get it.
Brandy to me was like a dynamite that was thrown into Beverly Hills, and everyone had to act accordingly and either suffer her wrath or be her best friend.
Yeah.
And I think
Especially
Brandy's,
with the broken leg.
Yes.
That was amazing.
and I think Brandy's one of the funniest people that's ever been on Housewives, especially Ultimate Girls Trip Season 2. She still has it.
Yeah.
And then less so, but I think Kenya should be remarked on for how powerful she is on Atlanta.
Yeah.
Candy. I can't believe Candy's not
I
in
put
either.
Candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's an honorable mention.
Yeah.
Candy, I could, on a different day, I could almost justify Candy being my
Yeah.
top 10.
She's just so like middle of the road that it's like, I think she gets maybe underestimated because she's not like outrageous or
Yes.
particularly funny or anything. She's just like,
Yeah, she's almost that MVP utility player that we
Totally.
talked about, where it's like she's always good, she always has the right take, but she's not the star.
Yeah.
Even though I guess you could consider her the star of Atlanta.
Right.
But there's something that why we didn't put her in our top 10.
yeah.
And then these are to much lesser extent, but I just think special note for me for Sutton on Beverly
Uh-huh.
Hills. I feel like she is the best cast member they've had in 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, her and Garcelle for sure, but I just think Sutton has a very unique energy
Yeah.
and is an archetype that they haven't seen on Beverly Hills in a really long time. And then Emily Simpson
Okay.
on OC.
Nice.
Just,
That's good.
a little bit of merit there, I think.
Nice. I put this is like the last bottom of the barrel. It's you, and it won't be as fun because you haven't watched it, but this is a toxic choice
Okay.
because she's canceled. But I put down Leanne Locken because she was raised a carny,
Okay.
and I just think that was like a 1 in a million find, and she's a freak, and
Okay.
I think that's interesting. But she's problematic. But she was never going to come up, so I just thought out of left field, if I could think of the most random one I
Yeah.
could think of, that was it.
Okay.
But also, I did put Yolanda because I think her, what she lent to the show cannot be underestimated.
Totally. And I do feel like she's underrated. She is exactly that you just they're there. They're for the most part entertaining. They're
Yeah.
neutral. They can be the bridge between people. Like Yolanda is so great. She
Brought
was
us
essential.
David Foster,
Yep.
who's like a huge, like, star in,
Monster.
total shithead. But like, that brought them to like all of those dinner parties where they'd have those like
Oh, yeah.
performances
Where
and
they're
like,
singing Camptown Races because it's a copyright free song. Camptown Races, dude.
and
that
he'd be
song.
like, "Don't sing."
oh my god.
And obviously the Hadids
Yeah.
and Muhammad,
Yolanda
like
gets.
that was major, and like that house was insane. Like maybe one of the wealthiest.
Yeah. I also love when the Munchausen rumor comes
Yeah.
up, Yolanda just obliterates Lisa Rinna
Oh,
about
yeah.
that. Like
Yeah.
no one has ever fought harder. Well, I don't know. It was just like Yolanda is like, you don't want to fuck with Yolanda. Like when she gets
No.
mad, I would never want to be
But she
anywhere
like
near-
never raises her voice.
No, but she was so pissed at Rinna when that Munchausen thing came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yolanda's great.
Yeah, it was sad that she went down like that because she kind of just like didn't have the energy to fight anymore.
I know.
Or like to do anything.
Yeah, it was such a sad end. I hope she's doing better now.
I think so. I think she like lives on a ranch with like Gigi.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah.
Are those all yours?
I also wrote down Tamara, but
No,
We
come on,
don't-
no, don't let me. I am so bitter on Tamara, but don't let me. You should.
well,
justify
I just
her.
think she's important and she's such an OG, and like I do think she is like a cornerstone of Orange County. Like she kind of, I want to say almost that she has rags to riches in a sense of just like,
Rags to riches to rags.
well, yeah, just mean like you see her life go in so many
Right.
different directions.
Right.
Like she's not stagnant, you know, like she got divorced, like crazy shit with her son.
Yeah.
She like meets a new man, which is like, even though I don't like Eddie, it was like a nice romance.
I like that we both don't like Eddie. It's like, what's wrong with Eddie?
He's just like,
I know. I really, he's like off-putting to me. I don't know
yeah.
why.
But like when they first are like get engaged and stuff, it's sweet. He like, they're in like Bora Bora or something, and he
Yeah.
puts the ring in a clamshell. It's cute.
Yeah.
And like I like her mom. Like there's just like a
Yeah.
world there that I like.
I'm sure people listening would have been like Tamara's top 10, obviously. So it's good to, you know,
She's
make
just
the
like
case.
a big part of it, and like her connection with like Andy and like the like universe of Bravo, I think is
Yeah.
strong. And like now she has that podcast. Not that like we need to honor housewives having podcasts, but like she's like a relevant
Yes.
housewife voice.
Yeah. Wow. So
And yeah.
so no Potomac. And then I've
Yeah.
never seen Miami and Dallas, so
Yeah.
I couldn't even add anybody there, but I doubt, you know, I don't know. I mean,
I
maybe there would be.
kind of I was almost like not gonna say I think an honor, like an asterisk.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I personally, again, I know it's toxic, but I think that Erica Jane ushered in something new.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I think she like, whether it was good or not, like she changed the game on what housewives wear.
she put everyone on their toes. Is that the phrase?
Yeah.
She got everyone, all their haunches stood up.
Yeah.
They were like, whoa, this is
Like,
definitely a
who's this
new
bitch?
energy. And she had that alter ego.
The alter ego, her old ass husband, which was that like the first, because that's such a trope of a Beverly Hills quote bimbo
But-
marrying an old man.
Yes, but there hadn't been that. I don't think yet. And Erica was so untouchable at that point that they could
Yeah.
barely even talk about it, even though it's
Right.
obviously such a
Because it was like obvious that that was going on, but she wasn't a bimbo.
yeah. Also,
like,
you can sense Erica's power. Like you would
yeah,
never like
she's
Yolanda.
like scary. Although she was much sweeter in the early days.
Yeah,
like
she's
when
been
she got
hardened.
brought in by Yolanda, she was kind of just like nice and chill.
Yeah.
And then she got what did she say? She goes, "People tell me I'm cold, but that's not ice. It's diamonds."
That was a great Erica Jane. Yeah, Erica Jane, for me, I don't want to honorable mention her, and she's not in my top 10. I don't think there's been a lot of growth with Erica Jane. I don't
Yeah.
hate her. I don't think that she was a part of the scheme with Girardi.
Yeah.
I think that was fully him, 100%.
Yeah. I don't think it's as fun anymore.
Yeah.
But like at the time, I was like, what do we have here?
True. She sent everyone like a shockwave.
And
through
I
that
think people
cast.
were like threatened. Remember when they go to her show in like
totally.
San Diego and they're all like, "Oh my god, like what is this?"
They tried. I mean, Dorit tried. PK tried. Everyone tried. to
Yeah,
come
when
for Erica.
PK was like, "I saw your Pikachu."
Oh my, yeah, that was a good PK. When oh my god, when Eileen barely even talks about her son, and she's like, "If you ever
Oh
talk
my
about
God.
my son again, I will kill you right now."
Yeah, her son, the cop.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay, that was good. I mean, this was fun to know your top 10, but I feel
is
like
this episode even longer than last week?
yes, we had a lot of overlap, which
Yeah.
I'm surprised and happy about.
I wonder, like, statistically, I feel like statistically there would be a lot of cultural overlap, just as
Yes.
everyone agrees on who the greats are.
Yeah, but when I say something like "I love Vicky," I'll get comments like, "Oh my god, I can't stand her. I
Yeah.
hate Vicky more than life itself." So I think this might not be set in stone.
Yeah.
This might be
Well,
like
like I
objective.
said, like anyone that hates Vicky, I understand, or Ramona, but I'm like, you have to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, and I give all their credit, and I'm not just putting them on just for their legacy. I'm saying I love these people. Do you want to just quickly run it down and then we'll end?
Sure.
Okay, for me, number 10, Kim Richards. Who's your
Yeah.
10?
My 10 was let's see. Kyle.
Okay, number 9 for me, Carol Radzewell, or as Luann calls her, Carol Ratsville. All right, that was my number 9.
Radzi.
Yeah.
My 9 was Kim Zolciak.
Okay, 8 is Teresa.
8 was Ramona.
Okay, wonderful. 7 is Luann.
7 is Teresa.
Okay. Number 6, Sonia Morgan.
Same for me.
Okay. Number 5, I'm going Nene.
Okay. I went Luann.
Okay. Who? Oh, right. Okay. I am number 4 is Vicky.
Same.
Wow. Number 3 for me. This is a huge switch. That's Ramona for me, and then
I did Nene.
Nini's your
Yeah.
3, and then we're lockstep and smoking barrel. Number 2,
LVP.
Lisa Vanderpump. Number 1, Bethany.
Bethany
God damn,
Frankel.
look what Bethany had to overcome. That much talent, and she is our number 1.
I know. It's just undeniable in that like New York is that your favorite franchise?
Yes, by far.
Yeah.
I for me, the holy trinity is New York, Atlanta, and New Jersey, and I
Okay.
feel like Atlanta and New Jersey could fluctuate.
Okay. Beverly Hills makes it's like borderline my favorite.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that before. I just can't not discredit Beverly Hills for having 6 boring seasons because
Okay.
I just hate Rinna and Dorit. Not hate, but I just dislike their
Yeah.
performance on the show so much that
No, it definitely. When I did my rewatch, I think I've said this before, but Dorit, I don't even not like Dorit, but the second she gets there, it's I think season 7, and that's when it starts to blow.
That's the flop era.
Yeah.
It's a combination.
But it's very
of,
strong until then.
of Rinna. Yes, it is. But it's a combination of Rinna and Dorit. They both reinforce the fake and authentic aspect of the show. Then Erica Jane gets to do that too, and
Yeah.
then it just becomes so artificial and boring. The first seasons were wild.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
All right. Well,
Okay.
this exercise fruitful for you?
I think so. I think now we have that baseline knowledge.
Yeah.
Moving forward, we can,
Yeah.
use our, what we
Yeah.
each other's favorites are. But yeah, let us know in the comments if you agree, disagree, who your top 10, list your
Yeah.
top 10 in the comments.
I was just gonna say that. Please, this little turtle cuties. I want some feedback on this episode. First of all, if you hated these rankings, who you love, your personal top 10s, but also if you like this Turtle Time content where Amy and I are not so tied to the topical shows and
Yeah.
just do one-off, things that can stand the test of time.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you like this as much or more, let us know. Did you like this episode while Amy is away in New York and this is what we had to do? Just let us know, please.
Yes. I had a good time though.
Me too. It was fun to know. It was so fun to land on Bethany, and I love the overlap we had. So
Yeah,
it was
I'm
great.
glad that you held me to it because I was like, am I really going to say LVP is number 1? I don't know if
I
I'm
know.
being honest.
And Bethany versus Lisa is like two titans.
Yeah.
Like you can barely make that decision. They
Yeah.
are like neck and neck. And
Yeah.
I'm glad we called it for Bethany. All right.
Love it.
We love you, little turtle cuties. Thank you, everyone watching on YouTube. This was fun, and we'll see you next week. Amy will be back, and we'll have a episode where we talk about,
We'll be back on the Roni train. Hopefully it's good by then.
hopefully Roni gets good. I don't think it will, but it possibly could. All right. We love you.
Bye.